Welcome back students. Today we are going to have brainstorming upon factors affecting the rate of chemical reactions. There are certain factors which affect the rate of chemical reaction. Factors affecting the rate of chemical reaction. The first factor which affects the rate of chemical reaction is nature of reactor. The second factor which affects the rate of chemical reaction is size of reactant. And the third factor which affects the rate of chemical reaction is concentration of reactant. The fourth factor which affects the rate of chemical reaction is temperature of reaction. And the next factor which affects the rate of chemical reaction is presence of catalyst. We will have brainstorming on all of the factors one by one. Factors affecting the rate of chemical reaction are nature of reactant, size of reactant, concentration of reactant, temperature of reaction, and the presence of catalyst. The first factor upon which we are going to have brainstorming is nature of reactant. We will consider two examples. Zinc react with hydrochloric acid, we get zinc chloride plus hydrogen gases given out. Now we will balance the reaction. Zn1 balance. Cl2 and H2. So we will add here 2 in front of HCl, and now the reaction is balanced. Second reaction we will see react with HCl. We get aluminum chloride plus hydrogen gas. Here, my dear student, we will see chlorine is 3. It's an odd number. We will convert it into even number by making chlorine atom as 6. In the process of making odd to even, we have changed aluminum. Aluminum becomes 2, so we will put here 2 aluminum. 2 3s are 6, chlorine becomes 6, so we will put 6 in front of HCl. Now hydrogen is 2, hydrogen we have to make 6, so we will put here 3. Here the equation is balanced. In both the reaction, my dear student, we will see that zinc and aluminum react with hydrochloric acid to give zinc chloride, hydrogen chloride respectively, and hydrogen gas is given out. Here both zinc and aluminum react with dilute HCl to give water soluble salts of zinc and aluminum respectively. And H2 hydrogen gas is liberated. In this reaction, my dear student, both zinc and aluminum reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid and we get water soluble salt. What do we get? Water soluble salt of zinc and aluminum respectively, and hydrogen gas is liberated. But the reaction of aluminum metal is fast as compared to zinc metal, because aluminum is more reactive than zinc. Therefore, we can say that the rate of chemical reaction depends upon nature of reactant. Therefore, we can say that the rate of chemical reaction depends upon the nature of reactor. My dear student, the rate of chemical reaction depend upon nature of reactor. Here we will consider two reactions. Zinc reacting with dilute HCl, aluminum reacting with dilute HCl. Both of them react with dilute HCl and we get water soluble salt of zinc and aluminum respectively and hydrogen gas is given out. But if we study both the reaction, we will find that the reaction of aluminum metal is faster than the reaction of zinc metal. The reason behind it is that aluminum is more reactive than zinc. From these two examples, we can say that the rate of chemical reaction depend upon nature of reactants. Depends upon nature of reactants. The second factor upon which we are going to have brainstorming is size of reactant. Size of reactor. The rate of chemical reaction also depend upon size of reactant. Example. Shabat tiles pieces reacts with dilute HCl and gives carbon dioxide effusion at slow rate. But if we take the same Shabat type and the pieces we convert it into powder and allow it to react with dilute HCl. Shower tiles, that is powder, react with dilute HCl. What happened? Gives carbon dioxide effusion at fast rate. My dear student, the rate of chemical reaction also depend upon the size of the reactor. Here we will take example. Shower tiles, if we take pieces and allow it to react with dilute HCl, it gives us carbon dioxide effusions at slow rate. Carbon dioxide effusion at slow rate. But if you take again the same shower tiles, but in place of pieces of shower tiles, we take powder of shower tiles. It again react with dilute HCl. It will react with dilute HCl, and this time carbon dioxide effusions are given out. Carbon dioxide effusions are given out, and it is at fast rate. From this example, we can say that the rate of chemical reaction depend upon size of reactant. From the above example, we can say that the rate of chemical reaction depends upon the size of reactant. Smaller the size of reactant, faster is the rate of chemical reaction. My dear student, the rate of chemical reaction also depend upon size of a reactor. If we consider Shabbat tiles pieces and allow it to react with hydrochloric acid, dilute hydrochloric acid, we get carbon dioxide effusion in a slow rate. But if we take the same Shabbat tiles and make its powder and allow this powder to react with dilute hydrochloric acid, again the reaction takes place and we get carbon dioxide effusion but at a faster rate. From this example, we can say that the rate of chemical reaction depend upon size of a reactant. Smaller is the size of the reactor, the faster is the rate of chemical reaction. The next topic upon which we are going to have brainstorming is concentration of the reactants. The rate of chemical reaction also depends upon concentration of reactant. Example: calcium carbonate react with HCl gives us calcium chloride plus water plus carbon dioxide gas is liberated. Here calcium carbonate react with dilute HCl. Cl2H2, calcium 1, calcium 1, carbon 1, carbon 1, oxygen 3, 2 plus 1 3, chlorine 2, hydrogen 2. Equation is balanced. We are having brainstorming upon factors affecting chemical reaction under this heading concentration of reactor. So we have taken the reactant which is dilute, that is HCl. The next reaction we are going to consider is again calcium carbonate react with HCl. We will get the same product, calcium chloride plus water plus carbon dioxide gas is given out. But here we will take concentrated HCl. We will balance the reaction. Here calcium carbonate reacts with both dilute and concentrated HCl to give calcium chloride, water and carbon dioxide gas is liberated. But my dear friend, in both the reaction we have seen that calcium carbonate react with dilute HCl and concentrated HCl and we get the same product, that is calcium chloride, water and carbon dioxide gas is given out. But if we carefully study this reaction, we will find that here concentrated HCl reacts fast with calcium carbonate and calcium carbonate disappears fast and the carbon dioxide gas liberated is fast. On other hand, dilute HCl reacts slow with calcium carbonate and calcium carbonate disappears slow and the carbon dioxide gas liberated is slow. If we consider both the reaction, we will see that concentrated HCl react fast with calcium carbonate and the calcium carbonate disappear fast and the carbon dioxide gas liberated is fast. Concentrated hydrochloric acid react fast with calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate disappear fast and carbon dioxide gas liberated is fast. On the other hand, dilute HCl reacts slow with calcium carbonate. Therefore, calcium carbonate disappear slow. Dilute HCl reacts slow. Dilute HCl reacts slow with calcium carbonate and calcium carbonate disappears slow. The carbon dioxide gas liberated is slow. From these two examples, we can say that the rate of chemical reaction depends upon the concentration of reactant. The next factor upon which the rate of chemical reaction depends is temperature of the reaction. Calcium carbonate at room temperature in this example. Calcium carbonate does not decompose at room temperature. At room temperature, calcium carbonate does not decompose, but on heating, calcium carbonate decompose to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas is in this example, student, calcium carbonate, when it is kept at room temperature, there is no reaction. But the same calcium carbonate, if we heat, then what happens? There is decomposition of calcium carbonate and we get calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas is given out. From the above example, we can say that the rate of chemical reaction depends upon the temperature of the reaction. The rate of chemical reaction depends upon temperature of the reaction. The next topic which we are going to consider is catalyst. Catalyst. On heating potassium chloride, we get on heating potassium chloride, we get potassium chloride and oxygen. My dear student, when we heat potassium chloride, we get potassium chloride and oxygen on heating. Will balance the reaction. K potassium 1, chlorine 1, chlorine and oxygen is 3. Here it is 2. So 3 will make it as 6. Here the equation is balance. 2 potassium, chlorine 2, oxygen 3 to the 6, oxygen 3 to the 6. On heating, potassium chloride decomposes 2 potassium chloride and oxygen gas is liberated. My dear student, if we consider this reaction, in this reaction, when we heat potassium chloride, we get potassium chloride. It means that potassium chloride decomposes on heating to potassium chloride and oxygen gas is given out. But on heating potassium, but on heating potassium chloride, in presence of but on heating potassium chloride in presence of MnO2 manganese dioxide, what happens? Potassium chloride decomposes rapidly. Decomposes rapidly. There is no change in MnO2 in this reaction. On heating potassium chloride in presence of a catalyst MnO2, that is manganese dioxide, potassium chloride decomposes rapidly with a faster rate. There is no change in manganese dioxide in this reaction. From the example, we can say that rate of chemical reaction depends upon the presence of catalyst. My dear student, we have studied factors affecting the rate of chemical reaction. The factors affecting the rate of chemical reaction are: first, nature of reactant. In this example, we have considered zinc and aluminum metal reacting with dilute hydrochloric acid, and we have found that both of them gives us water soluble salt of aluminum and zinc respectively, and hydrogen gas is given out. But if we carefully have brainstorming on these both equation, we see that aluminum metal react at faster rate than zinc metal. This is because aluminum is more reactive than zinc. The second factor which affect the rate of chemical reaction is size of the reactor. Under this example which we have studied is Shabbat tiles. We have taken Shabbat tiles, one in the form of pieces and another in the form of powder, and allow it to react with hydrochloric acid, dilute hydrochloric acid, HCl. In both the reaction, we got effulgence of carbon dioxide. But the reaction of Shabbat tiles, which is in the powder form with dilute hydrochloric acid, is fast. And therefore, we can come to a conclusion that the rate of chemical reaction depends upon the size of the reactor. Smaller the size of the reactor, faster is the rate of chemical reaction. The third factor which we have seen is the concentration of reactants. We allow calcium carbonate to react with dilute hydrochloric acid and concentrated hydrochloric acid. We got calcium chloride, water, and carbon dioxide gas was given out. If we study both the reaction, we come to a conclusion that concentrated hydrochloric acid react faster than dilute hydrochloric acid. In both the reaction, when dilute hydrochloric acid and concentrated hydrochloric acid react with calcium carbonate, we got calcium chloride, water, and carbon dioxide gas. Concentrated hydrochloric acid reacts fast with calcium carbonate, and calcium carbonate disappears fast, and carbon dioxide gas liberated is also fast. On the other hand, dilute hydrochloric acid reacts slow with calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate disappears slow, and the carbon dioxide gas liberated is also slow. The next example which we have taken under the heading factors affecting chemical reaction was temperature of reaction. If we consider calcium carbonate at room temperature, there is no reaction. If we keep calcium carbonate at room temperature, there is no reaction. But when we start heating calcium carbonate, we see that calcium carbonate decomposes to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas is given out. From this example, we can say that the rate of chemical reaction depends upon temperature of the reaction. And the last, the rate of chemical reaction depend upon the presence of catalyst. On heating potassium chlorate, we get potassium chloride and oxygen is given out. But this reaction takes place slowly. But in the presence of a catalyst MnO2, that is manganese dioxide, potassium chlorate decomposes at a faster rate to potassium chloride. There is no change in the catalyst MnO2, that is manganese dioxide, there is no change. From this example, we can say that the rate of chemical reaction also depend upon the presence of catalyst. The next topic which we are going to study is step regarding writing of chemical reactions. Let's study writing chemical equation. Writing the chemical reaction. My dear student, while writing the chemical equation, we have to consider certain points which we are going to study today. Example: zinc react with copper sulfate, we get zinc sulfate plus copper plus heat. Here zinc is solid, copper sulfate is aqueous, zinc sulfate is aqueous, copper is solid. The reactants are written at left hand side, that is LHS. Whereas the products are written at right hand side. So, in this chemical equation, In the left hand side, we have zinc and copper sulfate. These are the reactants. Whereas on the right hand side, we have zinc sulfate plus copper. So these are the products which are on the right hand side. First point. Point 2. Two or more reactants or product are separated by plus sign as shown in the above equation. The second point, two or more reactant. Here we have two reactant, here we have two product, and they are separated by plus sign. The third point, the reactant and the product are connected by an arrow. Which is pointing from reactant to product. The direction of an arrow tells us the direction of reaction. My dear student, while writing chemical equation, we have to consider certain points. The reactants are written at the left hand side and the products are written at the right hand side. Two or more reactants or two or more products are separated by plus sign. The product and the reactant are connected by an arrow which is pointed from the reactant towards the product. The direction of an arrow tells us the direction of reaction. The direction of an arrow tells us the direction of reaction. Now we'll see one more example. This was the first example we have studied. Now we'll see another example. Calcium carbonate, when heated, calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide gas is given out. The physical state of the reactant and product are also written on the chemical the physical and chemical state can be represented. The physical state of reactant and product are also written on chemical equation. Here S stands for solid. G stands for gaseous state. I stands for liquid. For liquid state. And AQ stands for aqueous state, aqueous state. My dear student, the information of physical state of the reactant and product are also mentioned in a chemical equation. Here S stand for solid, S. R stand for liquid, G stand for gaseous state, and AQ stand for aqueous state. These are written on the these are written on the subscript of reactant and product. Now, my dear student, we have taken two examples. In these two examples, the information of the physical state of the reactant and product is also mentioned. And this information we have written at the subscript of reactant and the product. Means at the below of the reactant and product, we have mentioned the physical state of the reactant and the product. But in the product, the gaseous state is represented by an arrow which is pointing upwards, and the insoluble and the insoluble solid is represented by an arrow which is pointed down. My dear student, when we write the gaseous state towards the product, towards the side of the product, then it is represented by arrow which is pointing upward. Here, when we represent the gaseous state on the side of the product, then it is represented by an arrow which is pointing upwards, and insoluble solid is represented by an arrow which is pointed downwards. My dear student, we have studied that the reactants are written on the left hand side and the products are written on the right hand side. Two or more reactants, two or more products are separated by plus sign. Reactants and product are connected by an arrow which start from the reactants towards the product. The direction of the arrow tells us the direction of chemical reaction. The physical state of the reactants and the product are also mentioned in chemical equation, in which S stand for solid, AQ stand for aqueous state, L stand for liquid, G stand for gaseous state. This information regarding the physical state and are written at the subscript of the reactant and the product. Apart from this, when we write gaseous state or when we want to represent gaseous state towards the product, then we use an arrow which is pointing upward, and when we want to represent insoluble solid, it is represented by an arrow which is pointed downwards. Apart from this, again some information can be given in the equation, that is heat is represented by a triangle sign above the arrow as shown in the above equation. When heat is given from outside to being reaction. My dear student, it is represented by a triangle sign above the arrow. Above the arrow as shown in the equation. When the heat is given from outside to bring the reaction. Whereas the heat is released during reaction, it is returned plus heat on the side of product as shown in the above equation. My dear student, heat is represented by triangle side above the arrow as shown in the equation here. But when heat is given from outside to bring the reaction. When heat is given from outside to bring the reaction. Whereas when the heat is released during reaction, it is written plus heat. When heat is released during reaction, it is written plus heat on the side of product as shown in the above equation. One more example we will consider. Vegetable oil, liquid, physical state, writing below the reactant in a subscript. Plus hydrogen gas. It is towards the reactant side, so I can write here in the subscript G. G stands for gas. When heated to 60 degree Celsius in the presence of Ni catalyst, we get vanaspati ghee, that is solid. More information such as specific heat and presence of catalyst is written above and below of an arrow as shown in the above equation. More information such as specific heat 60 degree and the presence of catalyst Ni is written above and below of an arrow as shown in the above equation. This is more information which we can write in chemical equation. One more equation we'll study. Let us consider one more example. Let's consider one more example. Copper react with nitric acid. In this reaction, we have extra information that nitric acid is in concentrated form. So we have mentioned it in a chemical equation. When copper react with nitric acid, we get reddish color poisonous nitrogen dioxide gas. One more reaction we are going to consider. The other equation which we have taken in consideration is copper reacting with nitric acid. But here the nitric acid which is used in the equation is dilute. And when copper reacts with dilute nitric acid, we get nitric oxide in the product. If we consider both the equation, we will find that we have extra information regarding the acid present in the reaction. In the first reaction, concentrated acid is used and the product which we get is reddish color poisonous nitrogen dioxide. Whereas if we take dilute nitric acid, then we get the product as nitric oxide in the reaction. This extra information we can write in the equation. Below the acid and below the, you can say, the product. From the above example, we can write the extra information of the chemical reaction as in chemical equation, such as concentration of acid, name of reactant, and product as shown in the above equation. My dear student, we have studied writing chemical equation. There are certain points which we have to keep in mind while writing chemical equation. The reactants are written on the left hand side, whereas the products are written on the right hand side. Two or more reactants or two or more products are separated by plus sign. Reactants and products are connected together by an arrow, which is pointing from the reactant towards the product. The direction of the arrow tells us the direction of chemical reaction. The physical state of the reactant and compound or product can be written in a chemical equation. They are represented by symbol. S stand for solid state, I stand for liquid state, G stand for gaseous state, and AQ stand for aqueous state. This information is written below the subscript of reactant and product. The gaseous state mentioned in the product is represented by an arrow pointing upward, whereas the insoluble solid in the product are represented by an arrow which is pointing downward. When the heat is given to carry out the reaction, then the heat is represented by a symbol of triangle which is written above the arrow. And if the heat is released from the reaction, it is mentioned in the product side by writing plus heat. Sometime in a chemical reaction, catalyst is present and the temperature given to the reaction is specific. In such condition, the temperature, the specific temperature and the catalyst are written above and below the arrow as seen in the example. Sometimes the name of the reactant and the product, the concentration of acid and base can also be written at the below of the reactant and product. So these are the information which we have to keep in mind while writing chemical equation. Let's study steps in balancing of chemical equation. Example: sodium hydroxide plus sulfuric acid gives sodium sulfate plus water. We are studying steps in balancing of chemical equation. Example: sodium hydroxide plus sulfuric acid gives sodium sulfate plus water. First step: The example is given in the form of word equation. So the first step which we are going to consider is write the chemical equation from word equation. This is the word equation. We will write the chemical equation. Sodium hydroxide plus H2SO4 gives sodium sulfate plus water. This is the equation. First step, we have written the equation in the form of chemical equation from the word equation. Step 2. Check whether the equation is balanced or not. How can we check? By counting the atoms of the compound in reactor as well as in product. So, sodium in reactant and product. Number of sodium atom in the reactant 1. Oxygen, hydrogen and sulfur. Oxygen 4 plus 1 5. Hydrogen 2 plus 1 3. Sulfur 1. Whereas in the product, sodium 2, oxygen 4 plus 1 5, hydrogen 2, sulfur 1. If we count the atoms of the compound in reactant and product, what we can say? They are not equal. So we can write the equation is not balanced. Step 3. Select the compound which have maximum number of ATOMS atoms. We'll write the equation. One, two, three. Number of atoms? 3. 2, 3 plus 4, 7. 2, 3 plus 4, 7. 2 plus 1, 3. So, the compound which have maximum number of atoms are H2SO4 and Na2SO4. From these two compounds, we can consider Na2SO4. Let's consider let's consider Na2SO4. Number of atoms of sodium in reactant and product. Initially, sodium in reactant is one. Sodium initially is 1 and in product 2. Now, in order to balance, we have to multiply 2 in the reactant and in product there is already 2 to balance the equation. So put 2 in a product in front of sodium hydroxide. our equation NaOH, sodium hydroxide, plus sulfuric acid H2SO4 gives sodium sulfate plus H2O, water. What we will do in order to balance? We will put 2 in front of sodium hydroxide in the reactant side. Now we'll count, and now we'll count the atoms of the compound both in reactant and product and try to find out whether the equation is balanced or not. Step 4. We write the chemical equation. Twice NaOH plus H2SO4 gives Na2SO4 plus H2O water. Now we will check whether the arrangement which we have done is enough for us to balance the equation or not. Reactant, product, sodium, oxygen, hydrogen, sulfur. 2, 2. This is the first reaction we have done. Now, when we write 2 in front of sodium hydroxide in a reactant, now the number of atoms of other element in a compound also change. Oxygen becomes, let's see whether it is changed or not, 2 plus 4, 6. Sodium 2, sodium 2. Oxygen 2 plus 4, 6. 4 plus 1, 5. Hydrogen 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2, 4. Here, hydrogen 2. Sulfur 1. Here also 1. sulfur 1 1. The equation is not balanced. The equation is not balanced. In order to balance the equation, the equation is not balanced. In order to balance the equation, let's try to balance hydrogen. To balance hydrogen, we'll put 2 in the product side in front of hydrogen. Try to balance hydrogen. Try to balance hydrogen. We'll rewrite the equation. The equation is NaOH plus H2SO4 gives Na2SO4 plus H2O. So in order to balance the equation, let's balance hydrogen. We have to put 2 in front of water molecule in the product. Now let's see whether the equation is balanced or not. Sodium, oxygen, hydrogen, sulfur. In reactant, sodium 2, and in product, sodium 2, oxygen 2 plus 4 6, 2 plus 4 6, 4 plus 2 6. Hydrogen 2 plus 2 4. Sulfur 1 1. Now the chemical equation is balance.